things that you don't understand. That does not justify that God does not exist nor God exists. It gives you understanding that you have to continue searching because you're still missing that element of nothingness. You have never seen it, right? So for me, I seek to understand that nothingness. Is there a way to explain that everything can come out of nothing? Yes, they can. Why? I'll explain to you. Atoms, protons and neutrons. Protons and neutrons, electrons. They actually come into and out of, exactly, they come into and out of existence. Electrons come into, yes they do, my friend. Electrons come into and out of existence. That's why they cannot determine where an electron jumps from the inner circle to the outer.
What was there before? Non-existence?
No, I'm saying the atom itself holds the elemental.
When you have these elemental particles coming in and out of existence,
the electron.
Before they come into existence, what were they?
Matter.
Exactly. The question is, were they non-existent first? And then came into existence?
You can't determine that. You can't determine that.
You seem to be implying they're non-existence. No, we're talking about virtual particles becoming real particles. They were not non-existent. No physicist talks about they were totally non-existent.
They don't know about it.
No physicist talks about they're non-existent. So you cannot use this as a proof in observable reality that something comes out of nothing. That is not. That's what was implying. That's what you were implying.
Science implies that.
That's what you're implying. Science doesn't imply. Science doesn't imply that.
Electrons come in and out of existence. From where?
From where?
I didn't say nothing.
Like if I come, my friend, if I come in and out of my room, outside the room, does that mean when I'm outside the room I was nothing?
No, you're making a misunderstanding.
Yeah. So let me go back to. I think we are diverting to another topic.
No, I was giving you justification that nothingness can never exist because we have never seen nothingness.
No, nothingness conceptually exists. Conceptually. We understand what nothingness is conceptually by knowing what something is.
No, but that's conceptual. You don't know what it is.
Something, we know what it is. Conceptually, we understand its opposite, with its absence of everything. It's not difficult to conceptually understand that concept. When you say, oh, I know what love is, I know what is opposite of love, you can understand. Pain, suffering, joy, not joy, you can understand that. I was rather talking about, let me just talk about that there are two camps in the questions of the existence of God. Either God exists and God doesn't exist. There is only two possible answers, binary question with a binary answer. There is no in between. In that, no, that's what I'm saying. In that scenario, we either have to fall or align to or subscribe to one of the other camps. I was for everyone.
For you.
There is no in between.
No, for you.
No, for everyone. Tell me, can there be in between in the questions of God exists or not exists?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know is not an answer.
No, but that's
so let me tell you why it's not an answer first. Someone writes, what is 2 plus 2? There are possible answers. 4, 2, 0, 1, right? You say, I don't know. I don't know is not the correct answer, is it?
For you, yeah.
No. If anyone asks you a question,
but
what is
those
2?
are not
Please,
combinable.
let me try to understand this question and answers. When somebody asks 2 plus 2 equals what? There are possible answers. I don't know if people give us a possible answer, but is that the correct answer?
For mathematics, no.
For that question?
For that question, no.
Exactly. So when we say God exists or God doesn't exist, does God exist? I am saying it has only 2 answers. 2 valid answers. There is no third. God either exists or God doesn't exist. There is no in between.
How do you quantify that?
We're talking about existence of something.
How do you know
the existence of something? Is something either exists or doesn't exist?
Have you seen God?
It's not about seeing it.
What they mean to say is anything either exists or it doesn't exist.
When you talk about existence of something, existence.
I can create anything I want and say it can or cannot exist.
Existence.
Means that exists.
Yeah, but I'm making that up.
That means you exist as well.
Okay, I could say, I don't know, a flying monkey exists.
For example.
But you don't know that. You can't claim that it does or does not because I'm making that up.
Yes, the statement God does exist. If the statement is a false statement, the answer will be no, he doesn't exist. If your statement that if if someone says God doesn't exist and his statement is not correct, then the correct answer is he does exist. So there is only two possible answers. One is yes, he does exist. The other one is no, he doesn't exist. There is no in between. You can't say I don't know. Obviously, you can say I don't know. It's not an answer.
It's not the correct answer.
It's not the
correct answer to the question, does something exist? You can disagree, but you can think about it later. But if these some questions, my friend, what's your name?
You can call me
Friend?
Haz.
I'm Mansur. Some questions does have binary answers, either or.
Some questions.
Some. The existence of something, either it exists or not, is such a binary question. You can disagree, no problem. But I will move on. I don't want to hold on to that when it's not a matter of disagreement in my understanding. But never mind. We'll continue. So I said, those people in the camp where there is no God, what are their reasons or justifications to say God doesn't exist? They must have some reasons. And I said to you, there cannot be any coherent reasons from that camp. There is nothing that can bring intellectually, rationally, reasonably that will justify their position. And that's why I want to know, give me something from that position where we can see that their position is tenable, acceptable. So in that scenario, I said, look, we can't find anything, but rather, when you look at it, you said, I cannot give you anything because I don't believe in that extreme position of there is no God.
There is an answer. I can give you an answer for that.
No, I want to know
I can give you the camp
what
side.
reason they had given, which is you
No
think
one
is
has ever seen God.
so just
Neither
because
you, me, or anyone else.
so just because we don't see something, it proves that these things doesn't exist, right? Let's understand the logic behind it.
Flying monkeys exist.
Wait,
You
wait,
can't
wait,
see
wait.
them.
Let's understand the logic in this particular justification.
It doesn't justify it, by all means.
There you go. So that's what I'm saying. It's not a justified position. You cannot bring anything that can be justified. Like, have you seen your brains?
My personal one.
Yeah.
MRI scan, yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen your pancreas? Have you seen it? Right. So according to your logic, one can say it doesn't exist.
Yeah, but it's not equatable.
If you use a logic, no one's seen God. So the argument here is God cannot be seen, therefore God doesn't exist. So something, the argument, not you. You brought an argument,
no one has seen it.
I'm
You have
dissecting.
never seen it.
I'm dissecting the argument. The argument stands like this. No one has seen God, therefore God doesn't exist. So no one has seen, you haven't seen your
But
pancreas.
you're equating them. I'm not equating them. Like I said, I'm not
I'm
atheist,
dismantling the
I'm
argument.
agnostic. No, but you're equating it.
It's not,
so therefore
I'm
you're
not committing equivocation. I'm simply saying this is the structure of the argument. The reason why God doesn't exist because God cannot be seen.
If the case
I
is
don't like the argument.
if the argument is you need to see something in order to
believe.
then
So what is the argument?
The argument is no one has ever seen God.
Okay.
So what's the argument?
What's the argument?
Telling
The
you.
end of the story.
No, it's not a
What's the
story.
story?
It's an argument. What is the argument?
That no one has seen God, and therefore you guys are explaining something you have never seen.
No, just because no one has seen, say, Rwanda. I have not seen Rwanda.
No, but that's not equatable again. God is beyond your
So
existence.
now you're implying something could.
You can't equate certain things. Certain-
The argument needs to deconstruct. I mean, we need to deconstruct the argument.
But if God is explained in your books in such a detail, then God should be
What if someone has seen God?
locatable, right?
What if someone
But
has
you
seen
can never
God?
locate God.
What if someone has seen God and said, I've seen God? Would you then believe?
To some extent, I would give him more merit than you.
Yeah, that's why we say the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has seen God.
But no one has seen Prophet Muhammad in any of our existence.
So now you're shifting the goalposts.
Do you believe?
You don't even have a picture.
Now you are shifting the goalposts.
You don't have a picture. of
Brother,
it.
brother.
So it doesn't
Where is
exist.
his grave?
Okay, one second.
Where is his grave?
Do you believe you have great grandparents?
Do I believe?
Yeah.
I can believe.
Do you know? Do you have them?
No, I
Have you
don't
seen
know.
them?
I've never
Do you have a
seen
picture?
Because
they
at that
exist?
time pictures didn't exist.
Did they exist? Did they exist?
They must have. I exist.
Okay, cool. So how
there
you're
are- how did
confirming
you
they
know?
must have?
How
Again,
did you know?
You're equating things that do not.
No.
equate.
Now you are changing the goalpost. One thing, what do you say about the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu you said, no, nobody's seen him, so nobody questioned him, nobody's seen him, that's the reason I can't believe. You didn't say your grandparents, and I'm saying like you came from nothing there.
No, I'm not saying you can't believe.
Anyway,
I'm saying
let's come back to
there
the
was
stuff.
evidence that he existed. Where's the evidence?
Where's the evidence your grandparents?
We are discussing the other camp. The camp that doesn't believe God exists is what we're discussing. And for that reason, my friend Haj, I brought this example. Haz.
H-A-Z.
H-A-Z. Haz, the example I brought is the existence of physical laws and the application of it. And I told you, physical laws cannot exert its effect unless there's an agency that is directing it to do it. Because the physical laws, we are saying they're not conscious, they not have volition or a will, intention, so they cannot simply exert its effect. So I give an example. So either you believe that the physical laws are conscious entities with a volition, or not.
I do.
So you do.
Yes.
So now the question is, the physical laws exist with conscious volition.
Yes.
Okay. And they exist always.
They do. For example, they verify two elements again. I know you don't look at these things because they're beyond your religious context, so you don't.
How do you know I don't look at them?
I'm just saying generally as you, not you personally,
Okay.
right? Generally you. Okay, apologies. Generally you.
I may not, but don't. I mean, but continue.
You can
No problem.
dispute. You can
No
dispute like you
No,
say to
no
me,
problem.
right?
No problem.
So there are elements, for example, in quantum field that the conscious mind interrupts the quantum normality. You understand what I'm saying?
There's going to be always an effect because you are.
There you go. So that means, once again, that means the effect upon something that is
observer
not
effect.
of conscious mentality cannot be affected because it does not affect the conscious mind, and therefore it cannot be affected by itself. So by definition, those elements, those quantum elements, must be conscious of some description that you are not aware of. So therefore, you can affect them. They behave the way you expect them to behave.
We are fully aware of
describing.
them. We are fully aware.
Hold on. I'm not
Maybe you are not aware.
Yeah, you say that, but yet the way you speak that makes me think you're not aware, right?
No.
Therefore,
Just slight interruption. I apologize. Before the universe was created, God spoke to everything, man and everything, universe, whatever, any that will come into existence. The universe, the matter, all that thing, heavens and the earth. They said, we are not going to take that. But the human beings took in this free will. So we understand, even to a certain level, there are consciousness even within matter. God speaks and they
now
respond.
you're changing your stance. Okay.
When did I say
You
they're
said
not
it has no
conscious?
conscience. It has no
I-
fruition. So you said all of those things.
Listen,
If you remember.
I said, they come. You are not a scientist. No scientist believes they are conscious. You are not using the scientific paradigm.
that's not the way, yeah.
So you are bringing your own belief system here, which is not science. Scientists in that camp, who are atheists, positive atheists, they would not say that the universe is conscious. They would not say the physical laws are conscious. I was using that, their paradigm, and saying, in their paradigm, the physical laws cannot exert itself anything. It needs another agency. So you are saying you do not agree with them, fine. But I'm saying it's not that I agree with them too, because we believe even in matter there's an element of consciousness, okay? Even to a certain extent. But ultimately, things that are all there in this amount of consciousness, they cannot be that supreme being, the ultimate being that always existed, because something has to always exist. Your physical law cannot be that determines and makes and decides things. We say that has to be the originator of all the things. That's our position. Your position is, it's not the originator, but anything else, all of these physical laws, they themselves have done this transformation. Why do you stop there? Why don't you go to this ultimate reality, the ultimate consciousness, which is God, the creator, the originator? Why do you stop there with physical laws?
Because that's as far.
Is Allah and the God is the same?
Allah is the only true God worthy of worship. There are other false gods. This is a different question. Different question. We're going to consider.
Yeah, brother, we're
Can I ask
discussing.
a quick question?
Yeah.
Isn't Allah God everything? He's saying the quantum thing. Okay.
That's pantheism and panentheism, like some Sanatani Hindus may believe. But creation is separate from the creator.
You have to ask the question: is God within the existence of creation or outside of the existence of creation?
The creation.
How do you know where He is?
This existence that you've seen is brought into existence by the creator.
Brought in, but He's not inside.
He's not inside.
How do you know that?
God tells us that.
God tells you that He's outside of existence.
Yes.
So therefore, He's not experiencing existence, and He doesn't know what's happening in existence if you're outside
So
of it.
the one that is the originator of everything, brought something into existence, doesn't need to experience, doesn't lack anything. Something that exists eternally without a beginning is not deficient in any way, shape or form with anything. It will be perfect, absolute. That's why we say everything else is contingent. The creator is necessary, not contingent, originator, and will be an absolute. An absolute being, an absolute entity, is not going to be deficient in any way, will be perfect. Perfection means it doesn't lack knowledge, doesn't lack power. He has power, and that will be complete power with no deficiency. He has knowledge and no deficiency in knowledge. That's why God doesn't need to enter the creation to know what the creation is. Quran says, أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ. Would he not know the one who created? He's the all aware, the subtle. Because he's the one who created everything, so he knows already.
Is that the statement?
That's the statement in the Quran.
That God is outside.
God is not in the creation.
If you manufacture a car, even though you are not inside the creation, but do you know how it operates?
The car.
Yeah.
The car.
Yeah.
The car, yeah.
You know how it operates. Are you inside the creation?
Are you inside the car?
Are you inside the car?
I am party to the car's elements, yeah.
Are you inside the car when you made the car?
I am party to the element of the car.
Are you outside it?
Are you?
I'm outside of the element of the car.
When you made that car,
I'm not outside of the existence of the car.
Are you not
the car doesn't exist outside of my realm. It exists within my realm.
so this is a different
he
way of
exists within my
looking at
realm.
it.
You exist
I am
within
saying
my realm. I cannot exist outside of
now,
your realm.
now I understand.
It still dictates
Now
the
I
realm.
understand.
It doesn't
In
make sense.
Hinduism, if you think about the circle, right? Everything that there is,
The eightfold circle.
yeah, the universe and God is like God is within that circle.
So
What we're
God is
saying,
within existence.
not in Islam. That circle is only the creation. At one point, the creation didn't exist. God existed. Where did God exist? Not in that circle. Because before He created that circle, the universe, where was He? He existed.
Where did he exist?
That's what I'm saying. God created time and place. So His existence is independent of time and place.
Outside of time and place
If God created space,
and time.
before He created space, He existed without space.
According to your understanding, yeah. Must have.
According to
Must have.
understanding, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying God is not within this space. He's outside space. He created space.
So if he's outside of space, so he must be in an existence within another understanding of space. No?
You're forcing again. You're forcing.
Like you said, it's binary. Either he exists in something or he does not exist in something.
That's
So therefore
something.
he doesn't exist.
Let's focus this.
Because if he's not, one second. If he's not in existence, then he does not exist. Because
And
you
what
said
is that
binary,
existence?
right? You use that binary.
I did.
1 plus 1 equals 2.
No, yeah,
something,
you have to
right?
remind me binary. So when He
where does
exists,
he exist?
He exists by Himself.
By
His
himself.
existence.
He's just in his own realm, like circle.
You cannot look. This is the problem of trying to understand the absolute by being limited. Wait. We are talking about an existence which is necessary by something that is contingent, right? So we can understand what the qualities necessary being may be by understanding what is contingent. So when we say the necessary being created, originated, brought about, space, you cannot then look for something, oh, his existence is also dependent on space. Because space was a creation. And the creator, we say, is unlike the creation. Has to be unlike. Otherwise, it will share all the deficiencies of the creation. The creation is limited. The creator is not. So his existence is unlike our existence. You cannot put time and place within his existence. In our time frame, in our creation, we can use that language.
So are you saying that man can create something that's outside of their realm of understanding?
I don't know how that follows from what I've
Because you're saying it does follow. It does follow.
How?
Because you're saying God exists outside of the realm of time and space, before anything. He created this time and space, but He created with complete understanding of how to do what it is, exact detail of the tiniest detail of everything, but yet He's outside of it. It's not the same as us, and therefore is completely separate to us. So by that definition, the man can create something that is completely separate from themselves.
I think
it's not possible.
How do you then equate God creating and man creating? Man, by definition, is limited.
To your definition,
Are you unlimited?
I am unlimited.
Oh, you're absolute, right?
My limit is my knowledge.
Okay, are you absolute?
Not at the moment, no. I'm absolute in existence. Do you know when you die?
No. When you're absolute, explain what you mean by absolute.
Absolute means a lot of things.
Yeah.
To you, it means God.
No.
To me,
Absolute to language, in language.
forever. The complete, the whole.
Do you have any limitation?
At the moment, my physical limitations are my prevalence.
No, you, in reality, do you have any limitation?
At the moment, that's what we
How can you be limited if you're unlimited to begin with?
Unlimited means knowledge. When you sleep, are you limited by your sleep? Are you limited in your sleep?
Just to explain.
Yes or no?
If you are infinite to begin with,
When you're dreaming.
explain. If you are infinite to begin with, can you be finite at some point later?
I don't know.
What is infinite, by definition?
It's unknown.
It's not unknown, it's known. We've
You
defined
can
it.
never know infinite.
We have
Infinite means
defined in
forever.
our language
How do you know something is forever? If
friend,
you never reach the
when
end?
when we want to know about reality,
So you don't know. You
we
just-
use language,
it's
right?
unexplainable.
No, we use language.
It's language.
We have a concept of infinity, which by definition, conceptually,
Conceptually.
yeah, is not finite by definition.
By definition.
So if something is infinite, it cannot be finite by definition.
By definition.
So if you were infinite to begin with, can you be finite later? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You as a human being, or part of the creation, you can never be absolute. Because you were originated. You had no existence prior.
How do you know?
Or you always existed?
Are you saying souls never existed? They just come into being.
They were created.
They were created. So every soul is created.
Do you believe in the soul? What's your evidence?
I'm not saying I do believe. I'm just saying some.
No, I want to ask you. No. Do you believe in the soul?
I think there is an energy. Yeah, within me.
Now you're saying it's energy.
I don't know. Soul is just a language. Like I
Okay,
said, it's
energy.
just a language.
The energy, right? The energy that's there. The energy that's there. The energy that's.
Photography.
You said something called colors you haven't seen them. How do you mean?
Because we use curling.
Have you seen energy?
Yes, curling photography.
Energy cannot be seen.
Curling photography. Yeah, and look into it. Maybe again.
No, hang on.
You have to go beyond.
What is
your
energy?
scope.
Energy is metaphysical, my friend. It's not physical.
Hold on. Curling photography.
Tell me about it.
You know what it is?
No, I don't. Tell me about it.
So that's what you don't understand. Right? When you take curling photography is an element where you take a picture of matter
Yeah.
and you can then see the energetic output of that matter. That is curling photography.
Okay.
When they take a picture of you,
Yes.
holding, for example, a specific crystals, your energy is at one point, and when you're holding these different elements, your energy either increases or decreases. Your expulsion.
Can
You're
we see
releasing energy? Not with your physical eye, with this picture. Like, for example, you can't see certain elements of
Not
light.
even a camera. We cannot see energy, my friend.
That's ridiculous.
Energy is metaphysical.
The spectrum includes everything. Spectrum of what? Light.
Give me an example of an energy that we can see.
Infrared, I'm just saying to you, infrared, gamma, X-ray, and all of these things you can't see. You can see a finite amount, 0.1% maybe, of the visible light. So you're one second, bro. You're excluding all of the other 99.999% of the spectrum. You are concluding because I can only see with that one tiny little percent, everything else must be non-existent. That is your understanding. Photography has included all of these different lights, which means we are improving our understanding of the spectrum. One day you might see angels flying because you can't see at the moment, right? So that means you can't exclude these elements. Curling photography.
It doesn't help your argument. Let me just explain to you. Photons. Photons, right? Is an energy.
I think he's talking about spirituality. In energy, you mean?
Everything is energy.
I mean, you are talking about spirituality in itself, like what I feel, what I am aware about.
It's nothing to do with
Yeah, but the actual physical energy being expelled, like your heat. Your heat.
Can you
Heat
define
when you're
energy?
sweating. Look, one second.
There are two types of
Kundalini's energy.
Energy, yeah, but the
Energy, my friend.
what he's talking about energy. When he's talking
Energy
about
cannot be seen.
physical.
It's a metaphysical concept.
so curling photography is what? Magical.
What you see, for example,
photography.
you see the
I might have the
look.
picture.
I think he's like.
Can you do a research for him so that on your phone you can show him?
No,
It's not research. Maybe I can start. So what I'm saying is,
you need to understand what I'm talking about.
okay. What we are
You
saying,
need to do a bit more research yourself. That's what I'm saying. Energy is not something.
I
look,
told you first that you're telling
No,
me how
no.
to do research.
I'm telling you.
fast.
I'm telling you, light, heat, radiation, infrared, ultraviolet that you're talking about, this is not just energy, they're manifestations of energy. They're not real energy. Energy is just a metaphysical concept. That's why you don't know. You're just a spiritualist and say, oh, energy can be vibration, we can see and we can feel, the aura. Your language tells us all. You haven't really gone into the physics of it.
we need to see like what's the definition of energy.
What is energy?
What's the definition?
Is that energy?
Brother, Google says you cannot see anything.
Brother,
I didn't say anything.
What is the definition?
What's the definition of energy?
No, energy is not aura.
Saying aura is what you can see.
No, energy is not aura. Aura is not energy. That's the definition.
Brother, what's the definition of energy?
Photonic light.
No.
What's the scientific definition of energy?
Something that has mass, light, and
No.
That's where the problem is.
Electric
You have built up a belief system based on your inadequate understanding of what energy
air
is.
is electric.
No,
You're alive
I'm
because you have
asking-
electric air energy.
I'm asking
That is
you,
energy.
this, what's the definition of an energy? You can't give an example, okay, that's the energy, that's the energy. I'm asking, what is it? What's the definition?
What do you think it is?
I'm asking you.
I just gave you the answer, but you don't think I'm right. So what do you think?
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
Incorrect.
I'm wrong, okay.
So your definitions about seeing
So
the
what's the
aura,
definition?
energy
If I'm
is a
wrong,
metaphysical concept. Right?
Metaphysical.
It's a metaphysical
What does that
concept. It's not physical. You can't see
Exactly.
it.
So that's just non-explanation. I could say the same thing. Energy is something you cannot
Energy
see.
is ability
It is
to
not
do
an
something.
explanation of energy.
When you have the
I just
ability,
told you what energy is.
can you see?
Photonic
Can you see
light.
ability?
Energy.
Can you see ability?
Can energy exist without photonic light?
One second.
Can they?
I'll explain to you.
No, they can't.
One second. One second.
There we go.
Can you see ability?
What do you mean?
Energy is the ability to do
Energy
something.
is the ability of
What is
doing
the
something.
ability?
Can you see ability?
That's energy.
If I can create the ability,
No,
I can
can
see
you
the
see
ability.
ability?
See the ability.
When you hit two electrons together,
No, that's electrons that you see. You don't see abilities.
Your
Yeah, you don't see.
ability to hear, can you see it?
what do you mean? Oh,
Ability to hear, can you see it?
no, of course not.
That's what he's talking about.
Okay, yeah, but I can see it by frequency vibration.
You're seeing something
That's
else.
physical.
No, that's a physical representation of sound.
about physical.
You can hear me.
I am not
because I'm
saying.
vibrating into
I'm
your
not
ears.
saying what emits from a particle, what emits from a matter,
excluding
what
it.
emits from a photon.
You're excluding it.
I am saying what you see is not what energy is. That's why I'm saying go deep.
What is it?
I've explained to you already. It's an ability. It's a metaphysical concept. It's not something you can see.
Non-explanation. Yeah, but that's a
Already
non-explanation.
said you
Do
cannot
you
see it.
agree? Do you agree? Energy is the ability of doing something. That's the energy. Do you
Yeah, I
agree?
do, to some extent.
Can you see?
What color is it?
It has a multitude of color. Depends on
The
energy
ability.
output.
The ability has vibrations.
When you hear something, what kind of color?
Some people who are blind can hear sound.
No, the ability, my friend, the ability of anything. Are you saying the ability has some kind of photons?
Actually see anything. When you close your eyes, do you see anything or you're just completely blind?
This is what spirituality
If I
does
put
to
light in
people.
your eye, or if I
Totally
do something,
confuses people.
like when you're sleeping, do you see anything? Dreams.
I don't see.
In your dreams.
In the dreams. I mean, that's different than voice.
When you
That's his
take-
brain
when you
waves.
take psych-
That's his brain waves.
So how are you seeing it?
That's a memory.
How are you seeing it? How are you seeing it?
Brain waves can be
You
seen.
see with your eye, right?
I mean, I don't
How are you
see,
seeing with
I
your
don't see
brain?
dream with my eyes.
How do you see with your brain?
Yeah, brother, that's a memory.
Think about it.
It's a projection
You're
of.
just being what's it called?
I am being
conclusive.
consistent.
You're being conclusive.
You,
with one element,
firstly-
but yet you're ignoring that in your dream.
The reason-
you can see a lot of things.
Okay.
When you close your eyes, you can see your whole memory.
Brother,
How does that?
when we see with our eyes, so basically what happens, our mind is stored as a memory.
How do you know?
What is vision, by the way? What is seeing?
Do you have a picture?
One second, one second.
Yeah, your visual
Brother,
experiences are stored
one
in your brain.
second.
How is it stored?
What is seeing? When I see you, what happens? Tell me about seeing now. Let's see if you understand.
Repeat again.
So when I see you, what happens? What's happening? From
You're
me to you.
examining me. You're checking
No, no.
me. You're
Seeing.
identifying
No, no.
me.
Seeing.
You are
Seeing and
picture of
vision.
me and putting in
Explain.
your brain.
Hang on. What happens in my brain? What happens? What happens in my eye? What happens?
light hits me and then
Light.
it goes into your eye.
Right. So there is emission of light, and it comes to
Your eye. And then your eye
Yep,
translates
in my
it into
cornea,
frequency.
rods and
photonic
cones.
frequency.
Then the nerves transfer the information in my brain.
Not a picture as you see, but completely different.
What happens? So seeing is what? Exactly again? You're saying seeing, he's a toxic heckler in this park, ignore him. He's a radicalized extremist.
Terrorist.
We have to be very careful with this kind of people.
Why? You calling me radical? I call him radical.
Very toxic.
Yeah. I'm listening. Sorry. All right. I walk away.
Right. So as you can see, seeing there's some kind of physics that are happening. That's why when we then interpret in our brain what we have just observed due to some kind of interaction of photons and my receptors, right? Yeah. So we haven't seen energy. Energy cannot be seen.
Photons.
How did you see? How did
Photon is not energy.
What is photon?
You know what? Let's not prolong any further, because you have some understanding that photon, gravitons, if they exist, for example, they're all energy.
I think you need to do more research. None of the physicists or none of the scientists said the energy can be seen or energy. The simple is. You said energy can be seen.
No, there are different types of energy in a spectrum that is visible to your eye and technology.
That wasn't energy that you said. That is a vibration of light.
Spectrum is that's part of this.
When you say spectrum of light, that's the vibration of light within that wavelength.
In a variety of perspectives.
That wavelength is the photons when they.
Which
Again, what is that? Photons. Right? That's what it is. It's an energy.
If someone, for example, if someone punch, according to you,
So you don't know God exists.
if someone punch someone,
Energy proves that God exists.
Okay. So
I know. But
don't call him brother. He's not our brother.
Energy.
He's the devil.
Like your Allah. Energy
See how
proves
toxic
that
he
God
is?
exists. Hey,
He insulted my God.
you insulted me,
No, by calling someone.
but you can't. You can insult me.
I
but
can
can't
call
insult
someone
you.
a devil when I see a devilish behavior.
let's not
Isn't
go
it?
there. Let's
Right,
not
that's
go
what I
there.
did.
Let's come back.
you went
I
there.
can justify my statement. But anyway, so let's come back to this one point. You believe in energy, you believe in some kind of spiritual energies and aura and so on. I want to ask you this question. How do you explain the Quran if it's not from God? Because the Quran says if it's not from God, produce a chapter like unto it. Produce a book like unto it. It challenges human beings.
I did, yeah, I read that challenge. How many times does it challenge and how many times does it improve the challenge?
The Quranic challenge.
Don't ignore that.
If you are able to,
But don't ignore that.
hear me out. If you're able to produce a book like it, go ahead, do it.
A chapter or a book or a verse?
I'm just about to tell you. If you want to produce a book like the Quran, do it, whole book, no problem. If you want to do 10 chapters like it, do 10 chapters like it. If you want to do 1 chapter like it, even one, do it. All of this challenge are all applicable, appropriate, and they're eternally there going to be until the end of the world. Why are people, Christians, atheists, spiritualists, unable to produce a single chapter
I was man created.
like the Quran? Why are they unable to do so?
Does the Quran know who
Because
came
no
first?
one is allowed to answer. You
What prevents people from matching this challenge of the Quran?
I will match it. Surah Al-Fatiha, 7 verses.
What's
I
the
can
nature?
create more than 7 verses.
What's the nature of the challenge?
The nature of the challenge is to challenge. God is challenging me. I'm not
No,
challenging God.
nature. When the Quran says, "Fa'tu surat min mithlihi," bring a chapter, a surah like unto it. How is the surah like? How is the Quran like? What is the Quran like that you're going to bring like it? Explain to me first.
Surah
It's copying the Bible.
It's a dua, right? It's a prayer of
If I
dua.
say
So I
bring,
will make it better.
if I say bring a ring like it, this one, and you say, oh yeah, there you go,
Who's speaking?
there you go, that's a ring like it.
Yeah, but that's not what the
Wait,
Quran says.
wait, Has. Let me try to explain to you the challenge. If I said bring a ring like this one, and you brought this one, would that be challenge met?
Unless
Yes,
that,
it would be.
unless that's better ring than that one.
Right.
No, is this a ring like this?
It's better than
It's
that.
not about better. It's,
But you're equating
Oh,
things
you
that
said
are not
bring it
equal.
like.
the question is to bring something like it. The question is not bring
would I bring
something
something like
lesser
it?
or
The
higher,
Bible-
just like it. So-
the Quran is a copy of the Bible.
So,
if
is this like this
guy's
ring?
a liar.
Is this like this
He's trying
ring?
to cover me, right?
Good. So we need to understand what this ring is like to bring something like it. If someone brings something like that,
The Quran
you will
is
say
like the Bible.
they have not
It just
understood
contradicts
what it is. So when the Quran says bring something like the
It's a
Quran,
detailed explanation.
you need to know what the Quran
But
is
you
like.
don't know
So,
the name of Adam's wife.
if you're going to
You
bring
don't know who died on the cross.
a chapter, a surah like
know
into the
who's in
Quran, how is the surah like? How is the surah like? These beggars will come to my speech all the time.
You wish I was a beggar.
Don't instigate him, please.
You wish I was a beggar.
no, he will bark like this.
Everywhere I
On your
go,
channel.
he comes here to beg to have a discussion,
on your
and I don't give him a discussion. Anyway, continue.
I'll be back.
So,
I wish you would come to Jesus Christ, the true Messiah, not their Esau. I just want to know. They say Eric, we will.
well said. Well done. Thank you.
I want him.
He will debate with you later.
Yes, I just want to know, right? Why does their book say that Jesus' name is Isa, but in Arabic his name is Yasu? You see what they say? They all say Arabic, but his name is Yasu.
He will come back.
In Arabic. Yeah. You need to accept Jesus Christ. He's the real Messiah. What's that?
Bro, he doesn't believe in God.
I know. But we'll chat later. We'll chat later, okay?
Don't invite me.
But just notice how the Muslims run.
Let the beggars go, right? Let them keep on begging. Anyway, so to bring a chapter like in the Quran is to know what the Quran is like. The Quran is like none of the Arabic speech from its time. Totally different. It's not like the statement of the Quran, the soothsayers. It's not the statement like the poets. Yeah. So it's not poetry, it's not prose, it's not the statement of soothsayer. It's in its own linguistic genre. Unique. It doesn't have any rhymes and meters that they're familiar with, 16 types of Bihar. None of that. So that's why when you bring the Quran, if you want to bring an imitation, you have to bring something like what it is. So there are lots of objective works of how the Quran is like, so that people can bring or try to bring something like it. Why, even after the objective nature is shown, people fail to bring something like it? Is the question to you? Why?
Because you're putting constraints on it.
No, that's the conditions. The Quran itself
No, but
tells
that's
you.
constraint.
The Quran challenges
like
people
it,
to bring something like it.
Like it.
If it was a human
What is the
speech,
meaning like it?
the way it is.
What's the difference between like it and exactly?
The Quran doesn't say bring exactly.
What's the difference?
Exactly would be exactly a duplication, a duplicate thing.
Like your ring.
I
Exactly like this
duplicate.
ring.
But the Quran doesn't say
So therefore,
duplicate
I don't
it.
have to bring something
The Quran
exactly
doesn't
like
say
it.
duplicate it. Quran says bring something like it of that nature.
I choose Surah Al-Fatiha. Seven verses, right, to it. And it talks in simplicity, right? It doesn't have any complexity to it.
Okay,
I'm
Surah
just saying,
Al-Fatiha.
if I can produce something...
Wait. Have you produced it? Okay, recite to me your production. Let's see how it's like the stylistics of the Quran. Because it needs to be within the stylistics of the Quran.
You're putting constraints to it.
That's the condition.
What's likeness?
You don't like it?
Why would I need to speak like God if I'm making something equal
The
to
Quran
understanding?
tells you bring something like the Quran. If this ring is made of silver,
But if it
you
says
should make.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim, I
You
can't
should
say
not.
the same words.
No, you cannot bring it a plastic because it's not like it.
But it's
So
words.
when the Arabic Quran has stylistics, usloob and asali, right? These are stylistics. You have to match those stylistics. So if I say, for example, a sentence starts with a nominal sentence, with a noun, then a preposition, then a verb, and so on, that's the stylistics. So you have to bring something of that
Putting
nature.
those constraints on it.
That's the condition, my friend.
Where? It doesn't say that.
We are not asking.
The whole statement.
The
Back
statement
to
like it, you're adding
بمثله.
other things.
No. When it says like بمثل, the mithl is as the Quran is. If the Quran is now within that stylistics,
No, it's not. It doesn't ask you that. I am saying one verse. It says one verse.
I just told you.
No, hold on.
فَأْتُوا سُورَةٌ مِّن مِثْلِهِ.
The first challenge is not the entire Quran. The first challenge is to bring one verse like it. And then the second
One
challenge...
verse where?
Where's your book? Take it out. You'll see it.
Doesn't
It'll
say one
say
verse like it.
one
It
surah,
doesn't say one-
one surah.
Surah and
One
verse
surah.
does not say.
Surah.
You got your chronology wrong. Where did you get this chronology? One surah, then 10 surah, then one book.
Hold on.
Where did you get that from?
In your Quran. In your Quran, it says one
The
surah.
chronology.
Bring one surah
Wait,
like it.
Has.
Then it says bring 10 like it.
That chronology that you're
entire
saying.
book like it. So God is improving his
Excuse
challenge
me.
because someone has met his challenge.
That chronology that you
That's the
give
only
it.
reason.
You're not listening. You're not
But you're
listening.
not listening to me either.
I am disputing your chronology.
Without me finishing first.
You said it came as one chapter first, then 10 chapter, then one whole book.
Yes.
Right? I'm disputing that chronology. Chronology is the sequence of events. Right? Where
It's
did you...
sequential.
The challenge of first one, then 10, then a whole book. I am disputing that.
That's how the book is written now.
Where does it say
Why
that?
is it like that? Are you disagreeing?
I am
You're
telling...
disagreeing
I
with
am...
the chronology
I am...
of the book that is
I am
written
telling
today.
you
So you're not Muslim.
that you...
You can't be. Because you're disagreeing with it.
Has. With all due respect, You should have known the Quran as it stands today. This is not the order of sequential revelation.
I can put it in any order I want.
Don't change the goalpost. You made a claim. This is the order in the Quran
As it stands.
as it stands. But I am saying, when the Quran was sent down, revealed, this is not the order as you find the order as it stands today.
How do you prove that? It's a question. Don't be upset with it.
When the Quran was revealed, we have historical narrations.
So why didn't they follow it?
Can I finish what I'm saying? We are dealing with whether the Quran as it stands today this is the way it was revealed, in that order. To know that it wasn't, we can go to the historical accounts. And we find the historical accounts tells us. The first one was اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. Okay? This is surah much later in the Quran. So historical evidence tells us this is the order. It's not the order as it stands in the format of the book today. So you cannot use your argument saying just because it appears in this way, that's why the Quran initially challenged and people met and then Quran improved it. No. The Quranic challenge of all of these three challenges still stands today in any way you want it. I am saying you cannot bring to this day now someone has a product of imitation and say, look, this matches this particular surah is in that stylistics and it matches those conditions. You can't. I have been challenging in this park since the early 90s, mid 90s. And if God willing, if I'm still in London, I'll be coming and keep on challenging that. The Quran has been challenging for the last 1444 years or more. So the challenge is every week, every day, every year, Muslims are challenging. Excuse me. So it's not something that Muslims are hiding from that challenge. Muslims are actively saying, where is it? You can go in the internet and they say, surah this, surah that. But ask yourself, the people who are imitating such imitation, which surah is it imitating and how are they meeting the condition? None of them does. Not a single one of them. Not a single one of them. You can bring anywhere you like, we can talk about it. None of them meets the condition. Why? If it's a human product, Shakespeare can be imitated. You can ask DeepSeek, you can ask ChatGPT, it will imitate Shakespeare and you wouldn't even know whether that was Shakespeare or not.
Because they don't place the constraints.
Human speech within the conditions of the stylistics of Shakespeare, you can imitate it. But you cannot imitate the stylistics of the Quran. Says the Muslims for the last 1400 years.
Translate the Quran.
It's not about translation. It's about imitating the stylistics and bringing something similar.
So, but then it's mistranslation.
Brother, it's nothing to do with humanity. Nothing to do with translation.
But you can't take both sides. See, that's the
I am
problem with
simply
religious
saying,
context.
I am simply saying, when a book challenges and says, this is a book from God, you cannot bring something similar to it. If you are really individual with integrity, you will say, how can it be from God? If God doesn't exist, for example, it will be a human product. Maybe a number of people gathered together and made it. Let me try it. Okay, I don't have the ability. Let me go and ask someone who knows Arabic. The Quran says that if you cannot do it yourself, then you seek your helpers and supporters besides God to do that job.
So why did the Quran also say several things? Because you say quite a lot of stuff, but you interrupt me as well. So it's.
But I am only talking about that challenge. Why are people failing to meet that challenge? That is an evidence for the book that is from God.
If I could finish, all right? So your first thing is you're putting constraints prior hand.
I disagree with your wordings.
And your constraints.
I disagree with your wordings. We cannot continue any further because a challenge has a constraint. Constraint, you're saying is a negative thing. Oh, you're making. Use the word conditions. That's what the challenge is about.
But
the challenge is with conditions.
Constraint and condition is different.
Exactly, they're different.
When the Quran says
challenges with conditions.
What's the condition of the Quran?
When the Quran gives you specific conditions, it highlights it, does it not?
What are they?
And the Quran highlighted it with one word.
It doesn't say one, maybe two,
listen.
maybe six.
The Quran is so concise, it only needed to choose one word.
So therefore you're placing the constraints that you have elaborated out of your head to stop anyone from proceeding further than that. So therefore you're putting the constraints.
Disagree.
So the constraints
disagree with you, my friend. Disagree.
It only says bring something like it. So that means if I can choose Surah Al-Fatiha, and I can do better then that surah, you will say it's failing because it's not meeting the language, it's not meeting the poetic understanding of it, it's not meeting the
You misunderstood the
phonetic,
challenge. That's the problem.
the grammatic.
No, you misunderstood the
language.
challenge.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what you would
No,
say.
no.
So therefore, nobody
It's not
can meet
me.
the challenge.
No.
Nobody can. But you're making
Objectively,
sure
we
nobody
can
meets
bring
it.
Shakespeare's work and imitate it.
I can do better than the Quran.
Wait.
I can.
People
I can
have
do
said
much better than the Quran.
Yeah, of course.
I will explain to you how to pray.
Wait.
When to pray.
Wait.
The Quran doesn't do that.
Wait.
I will tell you why you shouldn't pray to a
Relax.
black stone.
Hey, relax.
The Quran doesn't do that.
Relax.
No, but
your arrogance is taking over you, right?
Because you're
so let
allowing
me explain to you again.
Okay, go for it.
Ring like this doesn't mean you bring my hat, right?
That's not equatable.
Excuse me. Try to understand what am I saying. Now, am I putting constraints or am I putting a condition? Condition. No. When I say bring something like this ring and you bring this cap, now, am I putting a constraint or am I putting condition on
That's a condition.
Condition. So the Quran gives the condition, bring something like it.
No, I'll explain to you. When you say bring something like my ring, it's a circular, has a shape like that, and it shines
I need
against
to
the sun.
define
Those are
circular,
constraints.
shape,
So
metal.
that's what you're
I'm simply
doing.
saying like it. This
So,
is so...
Can I not bring a verse?
Wait.
A chapter like the Surah Al-Nisa. Surah Al-Fatiha.
Wait.
And what is the constraint?
Wait. So you want to bring something like Al-Fatiha, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Al-Fatiha has its likeness. It has its stylistics.
What's the style?
It starts with Bismillahir Rahmanir
I
Rahim.
don't believe in that. So I don't need
Doesn't
to
matter whether you believe it or not.
What do you mean? I'm writing something better. Why would I write it in the same fashion? It makes no sense.
Listen.
It makes no sense.
If you want to make something like the Quran, look at the stylistics. So it starts with harf al-jar, ba. Then a noun, ism. So mudaf ilayhi, bismi. Then it has Allah here. Now here, Allah is what? We're talking about the stylistics now. Is Allah a sifa or a badal of this ism noun? And then talks about Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim in this pattern. You have a pattern from the same linguistic madda, rahim, is Ar-Rahman in the patterns of fa'alan and then fa'il. So you have now a grammatical construct and a stylistics. Harf al-jar, ism, which is mudaf ilayhi, and then you have a noun, which is what? A badal, a na'at, a sifa, what do you want to call it? And then you have the na'at of that, the second badal maybe, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. This is the construct. Let me give you an example of how this pattern is not, even that first line is not matchable even in Arabic language. Because we're talking to bring something like in Arab, because the Quran is in Arabic. The Quran says we have revealed the Quran in Arabic. So you have to bring something like the Quran, which is Arabic. If somebody says, Bismil Amir al-Akram al-Kareem, same stylistics. Bismil Amir, in the name of the prince, al-Akram, the most generous, al-Kareem, the very generous. Now, an Arab-speaking person will say, what are you talking about? We don't speak like this. It's not even eloquent, it makes no sense. You're actually making a mockery of language. Oh, Bismil Amir al-Akram al-Kareem. No, we don't say things like that. So that stylistic pattern is not going to be an eloquent speech even today to the Arabic-speaking person, whether they are Muslim or non-Muslim. But that's the construct in the Arabic language, and it is eloquent at that time. Even today, no one disputes this eloquence. That was verse 1, ayah 1. If you go to Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, you will realize what's happening here. It starts with al, definitive particle al, with a ham, making it difficult. All praise. The Arabs at that time, we're talking about now to understand this nature, they never used that. Now, ham, praise, with the beginning of their statement ever with definitive article with al, alhamd. They would say hamdan li something and continue. And then it says Rabbul Alameen. The Arab at that time never had in the vocabulary, there was more than one alam, one world. But here it's plural, Alameen. So it's bringing a totally new concepts that they were not familiar with at all. Just like if you go back to the English people in the 14th century and say, oh, look at the effect of globalization. What are you talking about? Globalization? What is globalization? they don't have a word for globalization. It's a modern word. So Quran introduces terms which it didn't exist in their vocabulary. So if you're going to bring something like the second ayah of the Quran within Surah Al-Fatiha, you better find a stylistics like that exactly. And yet it needs to be acceptable to the Arabs. The terms that you're going to introduce, which is totally unknown but new now with a linguistic innovation, and it needs to be meaningful and correct factually, because we know there are more than one world today. Many worlds. That's why we're even talking about multiverses. Many worlds. Worlds of jinn, worlds of men, worlds of animals, many, many worlds, not one world. So, if you're going to bring something like it, you have to bring it with this particular stylistics. And I can go on and finish the whole chapter, and you'll realize anyone on planet Earth will not be able to do so, because the stylistics is such in that manner.
Well, my dispute would be that the Prophet was actually challenged not by just himself, that he wasn't literate, he was unable to, as you said earlier and your colleague said, he couldn't read right? Okay, so that means he would have not been able to come up with such magnificence. He couldn't. That's your claim, right? Okay, cool. So in the same sentence, you're also claiming that even though the Prophet was illiterate, he was able to come up with such a language.
He didn't come up. He was given. No, he was given. It was given. It's not his.
Was it not spoken?
It's not his.
Was it not spoken out of his mouth?
Let me clarify one thing. Once we...
But you have to keep it short, otherwise...
I'll keep it short. Once we compare his speech that we find in the hadith, you know what the hadith are, right?
Another man explaining something else.
When we look at the hadith, his statements, we see the stylistics are different than the Quran. And when a scholar of language, literary theory, linguistics, they look at the stylistics, they will say it doesn't come from one individual.
But that was not their purpose.
So my evidence against what you're saying is this: when the statement of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is examined with the Quranic stylistics, they are totally different.
I accept.
That means the Quran was not his own, because he had his own speech, and the Quran goes outside his stylistics. So it was given to him as he says.
That's right. But at the same time, in the hadiths, it also talks about people who challenged the Prophet. And they came to him and said, you speak like a prophet, like a soothsayer, like a liar. It's irrelevant. It's in one of
I want to see and hear.
I don't know the names exactly.
I can't go about
who are the Ashabas of the Prophet? The exact, all of the people that were there, that were learned the entire Quran.
When you're going to, when you wait, when you're going to, when you are going to bring, when you are going to bring
60, yeah? No, there were more than that. 400 it says.
When you are going to bring historical details, I would like to see that historical details.
But before we go there, because I know you're cutting me off, don't cut me off, right?
I'm asking for clarification. I'm asking for clarification. You can't bring something from history without telling me where you're getting it from.
One of the hadiths in Muslimah.
In Sahih Muslim, you mean?
Yeah.
What does it say?
It says about those who came to the Prophet and they disputed him, saying that you are a poet, you're a soothsayer, you know what that means, you're a liar, you're a concealer, you speak in such tones.
And the Quran then challenged them, bring something like it.
No, the Quran then, a verse comes out in exact same wordings that says the Prophet is not that. Right?
So the Quran challenges them. Bring something like it.
Allah is so concerned that His Prophet is being seen in such a light, He instantaneously brings about another verse that fights the same wordings that these people use.
Here is your
Why
problem.
would God care about that?
Where is your problem? No, I want to address that.
No, it's in the Quran.
No, I want to address this.
Yeah, but you
I want to address it.
But I haven't finished.
The Quran interacts with people at that time directly. When people came in saying, oh, you brought it something, the Quran says, okay, you think it's not from Allah, produce something like it. You think he forged it? Bring something like it. Or you think he learned it from someone else? Bring something like it.
Why would he need that? Why would God need to be, why would God feel like he's challenged?
It's not what
is God challenged by men?
Listen, it's not that God needs anything.
It sounds like it.
is establishing the evidence against them.
Why?
Because the Quran is going to be the guide for the people.
Air doesn't care whether you believe or not. The air exists.
The air is not God. God is not
It doesn't
air.
matter. I'm saying.
So
even
the Quran,
but your God cares.
the Quran, God cares even to the minutiae of details because He's the Rabb. He's the Rabb,
He cares
the
about that
Lord,
one.
the sustainer for everyone.
No,
So,
he cares about that one, but he doesn't care about a lot of other things.
Wait.
Like how you pray.
Excuse me. Wait. Do not just shift the goal. We are talking about. You're talking about your inability, the human being's inability, the jinn's inability, the creation's inability to bring something like the Quran. So the Quran offers a direct challenge. Be a man enough and say, I will find a chapter like unto it if I'm not able to do it myself. No one is able to. Why I'm saying, why are they unable? You don't see the gravity of this challenge.
No, because you're constrained.
That challenge dismantles the beliefs, crumbles the belief of every single else on this universe. The challenge is so profound, so profound. It obliterates, annihilates every single belief system in this creation. It tells us, if you doubt that this is not from God, produce something like it. To this day, the challenge stands like that. And we are seeing not a single person is able to bring something like it.
But they can't, because you're putting constraints, and your Quran also improves upon the challenge. Why would God need to improve upon the challenge?
God hasn't
Why?
improved on the challenge.
One surah.
I'm not going to repeat that again, my friend.
10
I'm not going to repeat that again.
No, because
The
then you have
Quran
to
gave you options for any
If
of
you
those
go
things.
there, I'm going to go there too. But I'm just saying to you, however you chronologically you put it, it's irrelevant. There's 3 different challenges.
Same challenge.
No.
To bring.
So the Quran's wordings are not important.
You're not listening.
Are they not
You're not
important?
listening.
I am
The
listening.
Quran is offering you either of the 3 options.
No, it would have been in the same verse.
I'm
in
gonna
the same surah.
end this conversation because you're not being very sincere at this very
I am
point.
sincere.
No, you're not. In my estimation, you're
I
not.
listen to you mostly, and then when I speak,
Oh, no.
you cut me off. And when I give you my opinion, you cut
I'm
me
not
off.
taking your opinion. This is not from sincerity. I am
not?
telling you in black
Quran.
and white.
It's in the Quran.
The Quran, challenge of the Quran.
It's not chronological. Is that your
Let
understanding?
me repeat my statement so you can understand. The challenge of the Quran is that you have the options of bringing the whole book if you wish. Make the whole book like the Quran. No problem.
I don't need to.
If you want 10 chapters, if you want 10 chapters, you can do so.
One surah. I just
If you want one surah, one surah. So, give me one surah, let me hear it. And tell me how this is following the statistics.
Without your constraints. The condition is bring one like it.
Okay, that's fine. Bring like it.
One like it.
Yeah,
That's
like
the
it,
condition.
like it.
That's the
And
condition.
tell me how it's like it. Go on.
It's the condition.
No, the condition is like
Can
it.
you read? No, because you're Muslim, right? Can you read it and say in English, and I will make it better?
You tell me
I
your
have to read the
imitation.
Quran then.
Look, your imitation.
I can
I
do
want
it better.
I want to hear your imitation like the Quran. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll make it 7. In the name of the Creator.
Arabic.
Why would I speak Arabic? I don't speak Arabic.
It's not like it.
That's your constraint. But that's your constraint. Do you understand?
That's the end of the discussion, my friend.
Have a good
Okay?
Thank you very much for your time.
It's not any point talking because as I explained, this ring and you bring a cup. I'm sorry, we have to end this
Speak
conversation.
Arabic the whole time. Don't speak English at all.
Hang on. Oh, don't bring a ring. Oh, if you don't bring a ring, bring a glass like it. Bring a shoe like it.
That's just beyond.
No.
That's beyond.
This is the level of your. Hang on, my
You
friend.
know I don't
Has,
speak Arabic.
this is the level of your intellectual capability of grasping the nature of the challenge. That's all.
The nature.
That's the level of your
say
intellectual
speak Arabic.
ability. Your intellectual ability, prowess of grasping the challenge.
God speaks English.
Even after
God understands
explaining
English.
a ring, to bring a ring like it, you don't bring something like that. Because even to
That's not the same.
so when I say bring something like it, like the Quran, Quran is in the Arabic language.
Should I bring it in the same metal component?
The Quran is in the Arabic
Same
language.
metal component.
Excuse me, Arabic language. So I'll give you an opportunity one more time. Arabic language, go ahead.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, that's fine. You take care.
That's why you never convert people.
No, it's not
You
converting.
convert people because you are putting us
I don't need to convert.
in such a manner.
People who are sincere
You're not sincere.
with intelligence. intellectual integrity.
Didn't exist. You just placed it straight away.
One condition, similar. One condition, similar.
Verse, you instantly said you have to speak Arabic.
Similar.
So therefore,
How is
you're
it similar?
defeated.
How is it?
You're defeated.
How is your English similar to
You're
Arabic?
defeated.
Right, listen.
What do you mean?
How is your English similar to Arabic?
Also a language that can explain.
How is your English similar to the Arabic stylistics?
What do you mean?
What do I mean?
What do you mean Shakespeare?
You know what?
Shakespeare has a what?
You know what? You need to really reflect on that. That's all I can do.
You should.
I do reflect on that.
No, you don't.
Oh, now you tell me I don't.
That's it. It's Arab.